Affirmative.
5-star. Sometimes the heart sees the invisible. Silver.
I think this is a very nice contemporary image. It's got a nice story, and I think the conversion to black and white adds to the mystery of it. I also like how the author mirrored the action in the image. I think perhaps this image didn't get a higher rating was because sometimes when you just apply filters without adding some of your own creativity in it, it doesn't come across as if you created a very artistic shot. But for me, I like it, and as presented, I think it's a nice image.
Master Silver. Prelude and climax. Silver. Ian.
Right. A very interesting image. It obviously looks like one of these sort of street performers or dance type things with a stick with various things that swirl around. So I'm quite intrigued with the artistic rendition of that with the different colors. And also we have a smaller picture with a bit of an embrace going on there, like a congratulation to maybe having accomplished something special. The picture to me, I'm not sure that it really needed that second image at the bottom. I think the main image on its own stands quite well. And I know one doesn't want to talk about distracting elements and things like that, but one kind of wonders what the story is, and one can make your own conclusion, but it doesn't sort of tie nicely together for me personally. But it's still a very good image, a pleasing image. I like the colors. It's nice and sharp. All of those things work. But yeah, keep trying. It's obviously a difficult genre to appeal to everybody. But yeah, a great attempt anyway.
Next category is macro. Tim Gould, Master Bronze. A Meal for One, Gold Award.
A very nice image, a very nice macro image, and it deserves the gold for this image. I do enjoy all the nice sharp, how can I say, the sharpness on the hair, sharpness on the eyes, so the whole facial area, and also the insect itself is nice and sharp. Only negative points I can bring out here is the actual brightness of the leaf that the spider is on. If that was a little bit darker and the spider is brighter, it will be a nice contrast. And also the little back leg there is also very close to the edge, So just darken the leaf a bit, and then the spider will stand out a little bit more. Thank you.
A 2-star, Fruit Fly, Silver.
This is a great attempt by the author to photograph one of these. These flies are extremely tiny and really, really difficult to photograph. This image could have been greatly improved had the author gotten a lot closer, because the fly is so tiny and you want to capture some sort of detail in it, which is precisely what macro photography is about, to show all of that detail. I just think to have improved this image, the author should have gotten in a lot closer, and that would have given us more detail, and it would have appeared a lot sharper and bigger in the frame. Very nicely diffused background, and I think you have a good idea of macro photography in terms of nice backgrounds in there, but definitely my advice would be go in a lot closer.
1-star, Transport, Silver.
A very interesting image. I like the title Transport. Obviously, a spark plug with a spark on it. Quite an interesting image that you've captured there. And as a 1-star, very well done in terms of the sharpness, the crop, everything works quite nicely. A little bit of a dark spot in the bottom left, but that doesn't detract from the image at all, in my opinion. A great effort and well done. Keep trying. It's a great effort.
1-star. Photographic equipment, silver.
A very nice effort for the 1-star. Very well done. It's got a feeling of high key because the background is very white. But the lettering on the actual filters are nice and sharp. You can see it quite clearly. All I would have liked is that a little bit more space on the sides, and then possibly a little bit darker in the background, or use maybe a little bit of a different color than white, to give it a bit more interest to it. Thank you.
The next category is monochrome. Sue Gould, 5-star. Jolene in mono, gold award.
Well done, Tim. This is a lovely image. I love the way. Oh, sorry, Sue. Sorry, Sue. Giving your credit to Tim. Well done. It's a lovely image. I love the way in which you creatively used the lighting to the left and the right. And I think what really makes this image is that even though it's dark on the right-hand side, you can still see the eye very, very clearly. And yeah, I think it's very nicely composed, and you handled your exposure on this image really well.
Master bronze, nature statue, silver.
Yeah, for a mono, it's got good balance between darks and lights. However, almost like you've got two separate images there, and ideally one would have one or the other. In saying that, it's an interesting image, and there's a lot of interesting things to look at. But I find that the bottom section could stand alone just with that artistic shape. And the fact that there's a pelican perched on there adds interest to it, but it's kind of two images in one. And that's just my opinion. But it's still a very good rendition. Artistically, it works, but it does have that heavy sort of bottom section that seems to detract from it slightly, in my opinion.
Master bronze, the stair, silver.
Yes, clearly there's a beautiful story from this female lioness. It's nice and sharp. You can see the eyes are quite sharp, and also the facial area and the hair on the lioness is nice and sharp. There's just a slight sepia look that comes through. I think if you made it more black and white, it would have been a little bit better. And then that background a little bit is disturbing, the bush. I know you sometimes can't help it, but it just distracts the eye a little bit, and it makes the background a little bit messy. And the thorn bush is quite in focus, so it's just drawing the eye off a little bit. Thank you.
And Borman, 5-star, Protea in mono, gold award.
This is really a nice picture, Anne. I think the conversion to black and white, you've made it work really well. I like it. It almost has like a softness to it, even though it's a black and white image. I think you handle the exposure really nicely, and the fact that it's got such a lot of texture and detail that's still visible in it makes the conversion very successful. Well done.
Andres Borman, Master Bronze, Roy Cut, Gold Award.
Well done, Bori. This is a stunning image. I really like your conversion to mono. You've got your subject placed very nicely in your crop, and it's a very interesting image. Nice detail, very nice separation on the edges, with the background obviously being totally black. You have a very interesting stare. You wonder what it's looking at outside of the picture. But great image, well done.
Next category is Nature. Ian Taylor, Master Bronze, Searching for Nectar, Gold Award.
Beautiful image.
Oh, sorry, Graham.
Beautiful image, Ian. Nice and sharp. It's a nice close-up image of this butterfly with some nice, beautiful colors on it, and also a nice, bright flower it's sitting on. And there's also a hint of red in the butterfly's wings as well that ties up the two colors. Obviously, what makes the image is the beautiful out-of-focus background, totally diffused, and also a nice orangey color in it that ties in nicely with all the colors in the butterfly. Well done, Ian.
Andres Borman, Master Bronze, Maina Loss, Gold Award.
Definitely awesome action. I think you got the action like really well. All of the birdies in focus, the presence in focus, the fact that you've got sharpness in the image. Really, really well done. It's a really nice image. For me personally, I would just like to have seen a little bit more space around this. It's a very central type of composition. And I just think having a little bit more space around this entire image would have kind of enhanced it. But that's just a personal opinion.
Next category is Nature Wildlife. Sandy Reinders, 1 star. David and Goliath, Gold Award.
Well done, Sandy. Great image, great sighting, and great photograph, well captured. At a 1-star level, you've done really well. I really like the detail on the adult's feet. We don't know whether that's mom or dad. I presume it's mom. And it's sort of mimicked in the little cub there. And your title very aptly describes the size difference. And such a lovely capture. Well done. Keep up the good work.
Tim Gould, Master Bronze, That Look, Gold Award.
Yes, again, a beautiful image, Tim. You can clearly see that stare out of the eyes. It captures you, and also that nice bright red bill, and also the placement of the branch is nice and diagonally through the image, and I quite like the totally out of focus background that actually makes it. Only thing that I can treat on a little bit is just a little bit more contrast on the feathers in the whites. If you can just, make it a tint more contrasty, and it will pop a little bit better. But otherwise, I can't falter anything. It's a beautiful image. Thank you.
So Gold, 5-star, incoming leopard, gold award.
Lovely image, Sue. It's always wonderful when you're able to see these beautiful, elusive animals in the wild. I think you did a great job, considering that it was deep in the bush. You used the bush very nicely to frame the face of the leopard. And even though you have all of this distracting, or should I say, the bush in the background, and you've sufficiently blurred the background for the leopard to stand out. So under very difficult circumstances, I think you did a good job with the image. Well done.
Master Bronze, Goliath Heron Landing, silver.
Sure. Harsh when you're up in the 5-star and seniors above, as far as judging is concerned. But very nice capture. Great to see this Goliath heron coming into land on this perch. Why not a high mark? I would have preferred to see a little bit more of the bottom, preferably the rest of the perch at least, if that would have been possible. And unfortunately, that line between the sand or the brown color and the green in the background, where presumably that's the water, it sort of cuts the image in half a little bit. But otherwise, nice detail. It is fairly sharp. But yeah, great capture otherwise.
Kathy K, Master Gold, Juvenile Jacana toes up, merit award.
Kathy, yeah. Well done. well done for that merit award. You definitely deserve it. It's a beautiful image of this juvenile jacana. Beautiful colors. What makes it is that nice soft colors in the background, totally blurred out. A nice soft evening or possibly morning colors on the little jacana. And it's nice and sharp. And also a little highlight in the eye as well. My only little crit is a little bit more space underneath. Possibly if we could have seen a little bit of the reflection in the water. But yeah, that's minute, Well done, Kathy. Thank you.
Master Bronze, deep in thought, silver.
I think the author was very lucky to be able to get this kind of tongue sticking out and that kind of action while out in the bush, and took the opportunity. Very difficult lighting, as we can see, and I think under the circumstances, they did well. It is always very important to make note of the background. The background can sometimes be extremely distracting. And I think this is just one of those images where the background is very busy. And also, I think because of the difficult lighting conditions, it lacks a little bit of contrast and some sort of punch to make the image stand out. And perhaps if the author goes back and tries in post-processing, you might be able to get a bit more punch and make the subject stand out a lot more against the background.
5-star, morning snap, silver.
Yes, another one of those images where patience has paid off. You've managed to capture this egret with that interesting little fish. interesting that you've managed to capture this fishing in the sea or in a rock pool, and very well done that you managed to get this successfully. A difficult composition in terms of the background and the different colors, the rock and the white of the sea in the background. The bird was almost lost in that. But apart from that, it's a very good image. Yeah, it could have, there's nothing much one can really do. It is nature. But it could have been better if one was able to position oneself. It's very important, and Larissa mentioned that in terms of background. If you can position yourself where you have a background that's going to work for you, then you need to obviously try and stand there if that's possible. And I know that's not always the case, and you often just have to capture what you have in front of you. But well done, a good effort. Yeah.
Henry Opple, Master Silver. Hungry Chick, Gold Award.
Yes, a beautiful image of those three-pied kingfishers, all obviously fighting for mom's attention for this fish. Beautiful, nice and sharp, nice colors on it. And you can even see the water droplets on the kingfishers are beautifully nice and sharp. Not a lot that I can actually filter, except that the angle, unfortunately, is a little bit from underneath, from below. If it was a little bit more eye level, it would have been a lot better. But yeah, that's where they are, and they're busy having a fish. So then you actually then take the image. Yes, not a lot more I can really filter. Thank you.
And Borman, 5-star, Male Chat, Gold Award.
Well done, Anne. We often hear about, and I've used the reference or terminology myself, it's a bird on a stick, but yes, it's a great capture of a bird on a stick. You've got lovely detail, a very, very nice, soft, diffused background. Your placement, your crop, although it's a square crop and the bird's in the center, it works very nicely. And yeah, you've managed to make what might be a plain little snapshot into a very interesting image. Well done.
2-star, Drinking Buddies, Silver.
It's a nice image of these two elephants drinking at a little pool that's on the ground. I think the reason why it got marked down a little bit is just it lacks a little bit of contrast, and it's also taken in the wrong time of the day, possibly over midday. It looks like it could have also been a little bit of an overcast day. So the image comes across a little bit flat. And also the background is a little bit noisy or busy, just because it's not completely out of focus. So that's the only problem when you have background, it's quite close to the animals. It's not out of focus, or if you don't use a very long lens, then you won't get nice blurry backgrounds. But otherwise, a nice image, and well done for a 2-star. Thank you.
Sandy Renders, 1-star, Playtime, Gold Award.
Lovely image, Sandy. I think you got some lovely action there. You got the exposure really well done. Your background is sufficiently blurry or out of focus, and it creates nice separation between the background and the subjects. It's difficult when you're photographing animals on water because of the reflections and the glare that you get on the water, but I think you've handled this really well. So well done.
Kathy K, Master Gold, Lion Drinking at Night, Merit Award.
Kathy, where have you been? That's not fair. What can we say? Nice and sharp, eye contact, tongue in the water. That pink draws your eye straight into it. Nice diffuse foreground and sort of the middle, lower third into the dark. Nice little dainty border. Nothing to fault. Well done. Envious of your sighting.
Master bronze, motherly love, silver.
Yeah, beautiful image of those two leopards grooming each other on those rocks. They just come across a little bit soft. It's possible that they were quite far and it's got a tight crop. And that's why I think maybe got a silver. It's just because of the little bit softness. There's a tiny little bit of sharpness in the one cup closest to us in the face, a little bit of sharpness, but otherwise not a lot of sharpness in the rest of the image. And also the rocks are, also comes across a little bit distracting in the background. I know they are lying on the rocks itself, but otherwise, a nice image. Thank you.
Alcibiade toy, 5-star, youngster with open wings, gold award.
Well done, Alcibiade. I think you got the subject really nice and sharp and in focus. You got a nice pose, so it was a lovely opportunity for you. The only thing that I could say that would have improved this image was obviously to have a less distracting background, because even though you have the background sufficiently blurred, it is quite a busy background, and because the colors in the background are so similar to the colors on the bird doesn't sufficiently stand out. So it's always very challenging when you photographing against busy backgrounds. And I always say to authors that backgrounds are basically the things that make or break your images, and it's very important to be very aware of your background. So it's about patience, waiting until you can see the right clearing. So if it was this bird against more of the blue or turquoisey colors, it would have probably popped out more. But it's just about standing there and waiting for the right moment. And unfortunately, the birds don't wait for you, so it is a tough one.
Henry Oppel, Master silver, egret reflection, gold award.
Great capture there, Henry. I really liked this image when I first saw it. I actually went back and looked at it again, and I was very, very impressed with how you've handled the lighting. It's got great, it looks like there might have been early morning or late afternoon coloring there, and the background is nicely diffused. And whereas in some of the previous images, there's been, and I've commented on that line through the middle, this doesn't really interfere because the bulk of the bird is, the white part is above that line, and the dark parts of the leg are nicely separated by that line, which goes into that reflection, which holds that image and gives it nice balance. Overall, a very pleasing image, nice to look at, but envious of the capture, but well done, Henry.
1-star, stalking, silver.
Yeah, for the 1-star, it was it's a very nice image. It's always not easy to photograph them while they're busy feeding. They're always busy and moving. So for the 1-star, it's not that easy to capture. Any negative points I've got is the angle. It's a little bit from the top, we always want to try and photograph them from eye level. And also the time of the day. It's a little bit bright, a little bit, through the bright time of the day. So we always want to wait for a little bit, for evening or morning light. But yeah, the bird was there and you wanted to get that image. But a good try. Thank you.
5-star, cruising, silver.
Once again, well done to the author. I think you managed to get your bird in flight really nicely. You handled the exposure really well, even though it's fairly bright on the front end of the bird, but you've managed to protect all of your highlights. Two things. Once again, the background of the image is really busy, so there's this competition between the subject and the background. And I also believe that on the top end of your image, you should have just left a little bit more space, because it's just too close to the wing, is just a bit too close to the edge. But yeah, it's just constantly about practicing, and it was a great attempt.
The next category is pictorial. Michelle Pearson, 5-star. The Last Stretch, Merit Award.
Yeah, great capture again, Michelle. And we should just leave it at that and move on. Now, I must say that you've handled your lighting, your colors so nicely diffused. The capture is just, timing is excellent. Your composition and your positioning of the bird in the image is also excellent. So really well done, well-deserved merit. Congratulations.
5-star, playing piano, silver.
I've got a nice idea here, photographing the hands playing the piano. It just comes across a little bit, if it's nearly like it's staged. I can see that the thumb has got a little bit it's pushing on the key a little bit. But I think it's the lighting and the angle that's let you down a little bit. I think a little bit softer on the light, and also maybe lower down and not so high up angle would have worked a little bit better. Thank you.
Kathy K, Master Gold. Angry Ellie at Night, Gold Award.
Well done, Kathy. A lovely image. You captured the action really well during the night, and obviously the lighting was really well handled. Sometimes at these heights, depending on which way the light or which way the Ellie is facing, you tend to have one part of the body bright and the other one pretty dark. And I think you got this really, really well. And you even managed to capture the dust that the Ellie was raising. So well done. I think it's a beautiful image, and it shows great emotion and action.
Anne Borman, 5-star. Azalea, Gold Award.
Well done, Anne. I found this image certainly to be very appealing and very kind of just evokes a sense of calmness and peace when you look at it. A bit of tranquility, and you've certainly conveyed a kind of warm feeling from a floral exhibition here. And well done with your lighting and your detail. I like that. I'm presuming that that's some water droplets on there, on the petals. It certainly looks like water on the stamens. And it just sort of adds a little bit of a sparkle to it. It's almost like nature's provided you with a little bit of an extra boost, and you've captured it very well. So yeah, well done.
Ian Taylor, Master Bronze. Try Your Luck, Gold Award.
Beautiful image, Ian. You can see you used quite a good depth of field. This whole hippo, the whole head is nice and sharp. Even the one in the water there is also nearly sharp enough. So yeah, very well, and a short, fast shutter speed froze the water running out of the mouth quite well. So a beautiful image, and the composition is good. The only negative point I've got is unfortunately the reflection on the water is unfortunately a little bit on the bright side, but yeah, hippo is yawning and we take the image. So, but otherwise, a beautiful image. Well done, Ian.
Paul Ellis, 1 star. The Gambler, Kenny Rogers, Gold Award.
Well done on the idea, Paul. I think it was really a lovely idea. The colors in this image work really well. And this is one of those images, while there is so much going on in the background, the fact that the colors in the background complement the subject, it actually isn't disturbing at all. If anything, to improve this image, I just think the hand or the thumb areas and the fingers are just a little bit too bright. So maybe if you just pull down a little bit on the highlights and work on that, you could have quite a nice image. But yeah, I think it was a nice creative idea. Well done.
Andres Borman, Master Bronze, Dark Catch, Gold Award.
Oh, nice capture there. Again, Ori, you're certainly showing us how to take photos of Goliath herons with large fish. I like what you've done with this in terms of your coloring and your lighting, and you've certainly created quite an interesting take on this image. I think it could have scored slightly higher if there was a little bit more contrast between the colors. The background mimicking the color of that heron's head almost makes the bird get lost against that background. But nevertheless, it's still a very good attempt and a good effort. So well done.
Julie Asenbeck, 2 star. A Touch of Red, Gold Award.
A nice image for a 2 star. Well done. Nice image of this cat lying on the grass with this red leaf on the ground. These red leaves are also duplicated in the background with a little bit of red. I quite like that. Only thing that I can falter is the white is a little bit blown out. It's a little bit on the bright side. And there's and the eyes a little bit soft. It seems like the focus were on the front of the nose, and that left the eyes a little bit on the soft side. But otherwise, a nice image for a 2 star. Well done.
Karine Behrens, 5 star. White Lily, Gold Award.
Another one of your lovely floral images, and it's really, really nice. The colors, you've got everything in there sharp. What I love about this lily is it looks almost as if it's dancing. So it's not like a static flower. It just has got some sort of movement. And I think compositionally you did really well with it. You've handled the exposure really well. It's nice and sharp. We can see all of the details. Yeah, well done.
Michelle Pearson, 5 star. I Am the Predator, Gold Award.
Well done, Michelle. Another great image. I was really impressed with this. I thought that you really captured such emotion and aggression in this image, with those teeth being bared like that, and that eye just a slit, and the way that the nose is flaring. This is an animal that is not at a very happy state. And I'm glad that I wasn't in front of it with a camera. I'm sure you were in a vehicle and you were quite safe when you took this. But a very nice, interesting capture and lovely detail. Well done.
5-star, iris with dewdrops, silver.
Yeah, there's some nice colors in the image. It just comes across, if there was a filter used on it, it just looked like it's got quite solid banding. So it looked like there's possibly a filter on it. And it's also quite pixelated. And you can't actually see clearly the inside of the flower or anything. You can't make out the flower quite well, so you just see there's leaves and then there's this water droplets on it. But otherwise, a nice try, taking image of this iris. Thank you.
Next category is photojournalism. 5-star, holiday on the South Coast, bronze.
I think the author definitely saw something and wanted to photograph these two little girls with their backs facing the author. It definitely tells the story of a holiday. You can see that there are people on a beachside, on a beach. I'm just not sure that this has enough of a storyline for photojournalism. Photojournalism needs to have a strong story, and while we don't concentrate too much on the technical aspects of a photo, it definitely has to have a strong enough story, something that's going to be published in a newspaper or in a magazine or whatever. And while this image was really nice, and I can see what the author saw in terms of a tranquil holiday, I just don't think it's strong enough to have held in this category.
The next category is portrait. Michelle Pearson, 5-star, Cormorant portrait, gold award.
Sure, Michelle, I'm commenting on all your photos tonight. Another great capture, and lovely separation between your subject and the background. And as a portrait, it's got very interesting lines and shapes, and the different angles. That sort of S shape is a classic kind of element that one would try and incorporate in your image. And you've placed your bird very, very nicely. I like the angle with the beak going down on the left, and then the sharp tip that's decurved going down like that. Your handling of your light and everything is as usual exceptional. So well done.
Tim Gould, Master Bronze, Peekaboo, Gold Award.
A nice image, Tim. What I did find nice and interesting is your rim. Also got a very nice and thin, but also red to match lips. I guess you kept everything white so that the red lips will stick out more. The only thing that I found a little bit distracting is it's the light you used on it is quite harsh. You can see it's shining a little bit on her cheeks, so a little bit softer light, and then the shadow of the head. If you can bring out a little bit of more contrast, a little bit of light out of there, it will look quite nice. But otherwise, a very nice, pleasing image. Thank you.
5-star, A Night Out, silver.
I think I love the textures in this image, the fur on the collar and the beads that the model is wearing, and of course using that side lighting on her was also a nice idea. However, I think the exposure on this image is a problem. The hair there's completely blown out highlights on the left hand side, and even if you have to look at the lighting on her cheeks, they are. I think Jean mentioned this previously, that they're very bright and the light is quite harsh. Personally, I think if you tried this image in a mono conversion, you might find more success with it because it has lovely texture. And well, I'm not sure that you could rescue the blown out highlights, but if you have another image or a similar image like this, I think that would really work.
Master silver, intensity, silver.
Interesting effort and attempt at a portrait on this little vervet monkey. Yeah, a difficult one to kind of give a good sort of suggestive things that one might do. I find that overall that the image seems to be a little bit overworked, if that's maybe the correct terminology, in terms of it's not exactly sharp, it's not exactly in focus, and it seems like there's been a little bit too much effort to try and sharpen it and maybe work too much with contrast and maybe even too much additional sort of effects to try and bring out the image. I think if it had been a bit softer and not as harsh as far as what one's looking at, it would have scored a higher mark. Otherwise, the crop, the lighting, the exposure is certainly not bad. The border is not something that's detracting, but yeah, it just doesn't seem to work perfectly well, and it's tough when you up in the upper sort of levels of your sort of judging is going to be a little bit harsher, but keep trying. It's worth an effort anyway.
Master bronze, flowered child, silver.
I think it's a nice image of a beautiful girl. And it looked like she was doing some twirls or swirls, turning around, because you can see the movement in her hair across her face. I think what let you down a little bit is the lighting. It's just on her face and not on the rest of the body. It's well, so it just comes across that just the face is lit up, but not the rest of the body. And I would have liked to have a little bit more light in her eyes. It just comes across a little bit dark there, and there's no shine there, to liven up the eyes a little bit. And then the crop, just feel that the crop just there close to the hands on both sides, there was a little bit more space. It would have been a little bit more better, But otherwise, a nice image. Well done.
2-star, whiskers, silver.
A good attempt by the author on a portrait. The eyes of this little monkey really stand out. However, I think this image has got exposure problems. And I think where you focused, while we can see that you tried to do the eyes on the upper end of the subject sharp, you just didn't get enough sharpness in this image to make it an impactful image. So the exposure may go down a little bit on it so that there's a bit more contrast in front, and obviously just concentrate on where you focus and keeping the image, especially when it comes to portraits, sharp. So we'd like to see not just the eyes and the head shot, or if that's all that you wanted to include, then crop it or focus and compose just for the areas that you want to keep in focus.
Next category is scapes. Fan Barons, Master Bronze, Bridge, Gold Award.
Well done, Fan. Certainly a very interesting image. Well done with your exposure, your composition. I like that reflection. It certainly has a lot of things going for it. I like the bridge. One feels like one would just like to cross that and wander down through those trees and see what else one might see. You've done well with the lighting. Your exposure is good. And yeah, a great capture in scapes. Well done.
2-star, the Elders, Silver.
For a 2-star, it was a good try. Nice image of this, a little bit of a slower shutter speed. There's a few seconds on here, not quite long enough so that the waves are completely murky. What's distracting for me is the rocks on the left-hand side. Would have enjoyed a little bit more light on it, or actually more light on all the water areas would have been nice. And also it's a little bit heavy. All the rocks and everything are sitting on the left-hand side. So the image comes across very heavy on the left-hand side, and no particular lead-in or anything. There's no balance in the image. I think also the 4:3 crop on this, if you make it a more panorama, it will also help a little bit better. Okay, thank you.
5-star, Sandstorm on the Beach, Silver.
I have this image. It's got such a lovely artistic feel to it. The fact that there's sand blowing on the beach left it grainy and left a sense of mystery around it. It could also just be abstract art. However, I think what really kept this from a higher mark is the right-hand side that's very, very blown out. It's almost as if it didn't have, it's just like one very, very bright spot, and there isn't some sort of like tranquil flow to it. So I'm not really sure, but I think in this category, manipulation is allowed, and perhaps the author should have looked at getting rid of those blown out areas. And I think if you do that, it would be quite a stunning image. I personally really like it. It's different, very different.
Fan Barons, Master Bronze, Colorful Sunrise, Gold Award.
Well done, Fan. Great colors in this image and great composition. Your timing with that water receding from those rocks creates a lot of interest in the foreground. And you've got a nice sort of lead in on the left with those 3 rocks. And you've got another lead in on the right with that larger rock. I think this is taken down at Marina Beach, if I'm right. And you've also got some very interesting clouds, lovely cloud formation there. And you've got a nice balance between that and your foreground subject, which anchors the image very nicely. Well done.
Next category is set subject, which was forced perspective. Michelle Pearson, 5-star, Ascent to Freedom, Merit Award.
Yes, Michelle, now it's my turn to be able to judge one of your images. Beautiful image, beautiful black and white rendering on this image. I love it. There's nothing I can really fault on this image. I like the birds coming out of the mouth. It's really well thought out, and also I like the very nice soft background. A very beautiful image. Nothing I can falter on this. Thank you.
Sandy Rangers, 1 star. Playing with the Moon, Gold Award.
A lovely image, Sandy. Well done. I think you understood the set subject really well, and you created this illusion of somebody actually playing with the moon. I think you got the moon nice and sharp. You got the figures standing out really nicely. Well composed as well. So great on your achievement. Well done.
Master Bronze, Tea Time Surprise, Silver.
Wow, very interesting image. I would certainly probably knock the cup on the floor if that came flying out at me while I was about to enjoy my cup of tea. Yeah, a little bit of a difficult one in as much as, especially with what one's just seen, it's kind of evokes a different sense of how this has been achieved, and obviously the composite image that's been done here. Overall, the image is very interesting. The way the spoon leads in, the radial lines, and all of those things work very well. But as far as the set subject is concerned, I don't know if it is exactly fills the brief. Maybe one of the other judges would be able to enlighten me on that.
Five star, extra big, silver.
Yeah, it was how can I say, a good try to create an image. I just feel this cat is just too big in the image, and then you've got a tiny person here right in the corner. So I don't think it come across as what you intended, and also the exposure on the cat is too dark. So yeah, I don't think it worked out very well. And yeah, there's not a lot more I can actually judge more on this image. Thank you.
2 star, Into the Mist, silver.
I think this is a lovely, moody image that has got some nice leading lines. But as far as the set subject was concerned, the set subject was forced perspective. And forced perspective is basically creating an illusion where you use something really big or something really small, like the previous one that we saw with the cat, where the cat was really huge and the person was really small, and it created that kind of forced perspective as if there was this huge cat and a tiny person. And I think it's something that creates illusions and tricks with your eyes. And I'm not really certain that this image actually does that. As far as the brief is concerned, I don't think it met the brief, but as an image, it's a lovely image with lovely leading lines, and I think it was a nice conversion to mono.
Master Bronze, Size Counts, silver.
Yes, another image that a composite with this building and the person walking there, and then these large elephants with the baby elephant, or the large elephant and the baby elephant, which certainly dwarf the building. Just listening to what Narissa said about the brief, the forced perspective, making something that's large next to something small. I don't know that this is entirely what is envisaged with what I read up and studied on the internet, and I'm not by any means an expert, but this is a composite image where one has placed these two items together, and I don't know that the choice works extremely well in terms of creating a sense of wonderment and illusion that you want to look at. It kind of backfires a little bit because it seems a little bit contrived, and forgive me for saying that, but that is the way I see it. So, yeah.
Master Bronze, Squadron Leader, Silver.
I think the idea was very good. Quite liked the idea, and I think the squadron is Silver Falcons, and I think maybe a Falcon would have worked better. But otherwise, I really like the idea of the Zurin being the squadron leader. I just feel the prospection is not quite right. If the bird was flying in the same angle as what the planes were, it would have worked a lot better. And then maybe make it slightly smaller, and I think it would have worked better. But otherwise, I think a good try. Thank you.
5-star, Impossible to Fit, Silver.
I have to say well done to the author once again with the capturing and the handling of the exposure on this image and the composition. The image has got nice texture, so it was a good choice for a mono image. I'm also not so sure about whether it meets the brief with forced perspective, but as presented, I think it's a good image.
Andres Bormann, Master Bronze, The Jab is Coming, Gold Award.
Well done, Andres. Gold Award. I love your bird. Not sure exactly whether that might be a Varro's eagle, but certainly you're conveying the message about the jab. You have that syringe that is being grasped in that foot. Overall, the handling of the light, the conversion to mono is well done. Whether it works perfectly or not in terms of the brief, I hesitate to comment on that, but certainly got a gold, so well done. It's an interesting image.
5-star, Go for the Moon, Silver.
Personally, I enjoyed the image. The bird itself is nice and sharp, nice rendering of black and white. There's some nice whites and nice blacks, a bit of greys. Anything that I didn't enjoy is that very dark top end of the image. If that was a lot softer and not so, how can I say, noisy, it would have worked a lot better. It just brought down the image quite a lot. But otherwise, a nice try. I quite enjoyed the image. Thank you.
Jacques Selshop, Master Silver, for Volk in Fatherland, Gold Award.
Lovely image, Jacques. Well done on it. I quite enjoyed this image, and I think I'm not so sure about putting the brief once again, but as presented, it's a really, really nice image. And I think getting it into a high key conversion actually increased the impact of the image. So well done on that.
That's the last one.